industry with it will not just boom at the rate economy is developing and strengthening, but will actually pull this economic development and accelerate it at a much higher pace than what is predicted. And it is a tech sector that we're all not only banking on, but from the highest quarters, especially the support and the dedication and the determination that Honorable Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has for this sector, and the kind of support that he puts in. I'm going to wait. It's a very small example, but this year when we were preparing the budget, and we all know that we were, kind of navigating through the IMF conditions, and it was a difficult budget that we were trying to make. But it was just one IT industry and IT ministry that was able to really get everything that we asked for. And the special concessions that the industry has also were left for IT industry. The rest, all special incentives and concessions for other sectors were withdrawn. So that's the kind of support and the push that Pakistan government has towards the industry. Moving forward, one thing, if I talk about how we're planning and the way forward that we're looking at, we actually look at the industry growing in two verticals. So the is where we really, our end goal is tech exports. And as has been mentioned, the overall target of 25 billion by the end of next few years is tech exports, plus how IT and technology can help us mobilize revenue within the country. And this is something that I'm going to talk about in detail. So that's one target that we have, our exports and the numbers that we're looking at. Second vertical that we're really right now, it's a very exciting but a very challenging journey that we're embarking on, is that of national digitization. And I think that it's very important to mention this here because the whole national digitization process will be led by the private sector and companies that are there in Pakistan, and we're hoping that they will be able to make connections with esteemed companies like yourselves, everyone who's present around here in this room, and other international partners, and make more collaborations to really support our national digitization efforts. And what does this national digitization look like? The idea is to digitize Pakistan in three verticals: economy, governance, and society. And the first most priority is economy at this point in time. But talking about digitizing governance and digitizing society is something that will move on simultaneously. And as we move towards this, we're looking to immediately this date, hopefully either by the end of this month or next month, a National Digitization Commission led by the Prime Minister himself, with the presence of all the chief executives of all provinces. So it's going to be a nationwide effort, plus the heads of all large bodies, especially bodies that hold Pakistan's data. So FBR, the Federal Board of Revenue, the State Bank of Pakistan, Pakistan Telecommunication Authority, and there are other data reserves and tools that these parties have. So the idea is that everybody sits around the table and we start a conversation on digital public infrastructure, we start a conversation on data exchange layers and data governance. And followed by the National Digitization Commission will be a Pakistan Digital Authority for right kind of data governance to ensure that there is a digitization master plan available, and we move towards this national digitization with a concrete, comprehensive laid out in advance so that our goals are clear, our KPIs are measurable, and as we move on this road, we can really see our progress through and through. And like I said, all of this will be led by private sector. We as government we have a motto, and that's something that's repeated by the Prime Minister repeatedly, that government has no business doing business. So we're basically trying to roll back the role of as much as we can when it comes to business and what actually the private sector does best. So this is something that I wanted to talk about so that you can have a better idea of what kind of scope and opportunity Pakistan has available at this point in time. And in the coming few years, it's really going to boom, not just in terms of exports, but also in terms of the opportunity that will be present within Pakistan. You can well imagine that in a country with 450 million people, like it was said, 60% of them under the age of 35, it's just a country with a lot of opportunities waiting to be unlocked, a lot of potential waiting to be unlocked. So this is something that I wanted to talk about, the digitization plan that we have for Pakistan. And then there are many other things and initiatives that we can speak about. One thing that I would like to also mention specifically is our Pakistan Startup Fund, which I feel is something that is relevant to talk about over here. It's a small fund that we're trying to establish. We're still kind of grappling with the kind of the modalities that we will have, and all suggestions are most welcome. All your experiences are most welcome as to how we will be supporting and our startups and our new micro SME industry within the tech sector, and is to really probably make it into maybe an anchor fund where we can get large multilateral organizations, bilateral friendly countries, and other organizations and companies and venture capitalist funds and friends like yourselves to maybe become a part of, so that in the last few years, the lack of access to capital that this industry has had, because of also a global decline in investment, especially in venture capital, I think that it's extremely important that we kind of support our startup ecosystem with this capital investment, starting with the government itself. And that's the kind of seriousness that we have when it comes to the startup ecosystem that we have. So these were a few things that I feel are very pertinent to our conversation here. And last but not the least would be our focus and the absolute importance that we have for our human resource and human capital. We believe that's the biggest and possibly the strongest asset that we have as a country. And it is also ready not just to serve the industry within Pakistan, but also globally. So all of you who've been part of the training industry in tech sector, I would also like to welcome you to please connect with us and let us know what are some of the successful programs that you've seen and experienced through your careers, and that can really help this over 150 million young people, young Pakistanis, and each and every one of them, trust me, is looking up to this sector for not just training, but actually employment that will add to the industrial resource and also to serve the world with the great potential that these young, brilliant minds have. Over the last couple of years, Pakistan's potential can also be seen by the fact that in the global cybersecurity index that the IDU has, Pakistan has become a tier 1 role model country. And same goes for the e-governance, the e-government index that UN publishes. Pakistan, I think, rose by around 14 ranks and is now in the high category of EGBI. A lot of other stats that are going well for the country, global rankings that we're improving in. We're one of the finest freelancing countries that is there. And I think that I would like to also give credit to our diaspora, like yourselves, and our friends and collaborating partners across the world, who have really also put in a lot of their effort in pulling the industry within Pakistan. And I think that I would like to end by talking to you about a few things where I feel that you could be really even more helpful when it comes to the tech industry within Pakistan and young people who are really interested in growing within this particular sector. So first thing that I would mention here is that Ambassador Excellency rightly said that we're not just an outsourcing destination, but we do intend to become, and we are one of the most, not just cost competitive, but also quality competitive, area within the region for business outsourcing. I think that Pakistan can fare much better when it comes to business process outsourcing, and not just your average call centers, but whether it's financial services, whether it's legal services, management services. You talk about it and we have that human capital available. I think that there's a lot that can be explored in Pakistan, and I think that the gathering here can really contribute when it comes to that. And we can assure you of whatever guarantees are required at Pakistan as a possible destination. The second would be access to capital and access to market linkages. I think that that is something that most of you are already doing for the country. But again, I would like to do any one of you feels that we can do better. What are the kind of changes that need to be brought about within Pakistan that can actually help our young micro companies, startups, and also freelancers to fare better when it comes to access to capital and markets. So that's the second thing that I wanted to, really say that we'd like to talk more about that in detail once we have time. Third is something that I've already spoken about, that's training. When it comes to human resource development, I think that there's a lot of potential in Pakistan. It's something that I need our young boys and girls, whether it's in the national incubation centers, whether it's these really small micro companies that these kids have opened within their basements. I think the potential is absolutely unlimited. And the right kind of training, the right kind of skilling, upskilling is something that can really be a game changer. And last but not least is a very specific issue our companies back home face, and that is of international transactions. So any possible opening that we can have for ease of transactions and bringing the international organizations who are working in fintech, I think that's something that's the kind of possibility that I would like to personally explore with anyone who would be, able to really talk. I would like to have a conversation about this as to how can we do this for our young people in Pakistan. So these are a few things that I wanted to, really express in terms of larger economic stability, growth of the industry within the country, the kind of potential that our young people hold, and what are the things that we're aiming for, and the roadmap, and how can all of you become collaborators, partners, as we move towards achieving these goals for Pakistan and our people back home and our economy, but to be able to become really the hub of potential, the hub of activity, and hub of productivity when it comes to this sector. With this, I would like to thank all of you once again for being here, and I look forward to personally getting in touch with anyone who's who wants to read their piece in developing this sector for Pakistan as we move forward. Thank you very much, and hope you have a very good event. Thank you.
This was past midnight in Pakistan. Let me now invite Mr. Abu Bakr. He is the chairman of CEO of Pakistan Software Export Board and a former president of Open Global. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum. First, I think it is so heartwarming to see that how many people are here on this Sunday to be here to be part of this conference. So thank you for being here. I know it's hard to be here on Sunday afternoon and Sunday mornings and all day here. So thank you for that. And huge congrats to Ambassador Saab, Consul General, everybody to pull this together. This is a massive effort. We have all done these events in the past, and we have all seen it. It's not an effort that you can do it and pull it off in a week. So it takes months in planning, so kudos and thank you for doing that. Let me just give you a little bit of a background myself. I think it will be helpful. I'm not going to repeat that has been said before, so I'll try to just skip that part and just go directly to it. A little bit of background on myself. I'm currently the CEO of Pakistan Software Export Board. I moved to Islamabad 3 weeks ago. I lived in the States for 33 years. So people who don't know me would say why, and that's probably what be the question I've been asked most when I go to Pakistan and go into the corridors of places where I am there to help and serve the country. But a little bit of background, 33 years in the US, I was in the US, did my studies as well as spent 25 years in the IT industry in the US, working with a lot of different companies in Pakistan and different parts of the world. So I'm very familiar with the space. I understand what IT is and I understand what offers is. And why, when I said, why did I decide to move back, is surely one simple reason. I truly believe in the opportunity of Pakistan. I truly believe the talent of Pakistan is better than anybody else. And I've done this work for 20 years. I've sent tremendous, and I think one of these companies that are here that's presenting here, 10 polls, I think they know I've taken them, a lot of different companies to Pakistan in my 23 years of working in the US. And every time when I work with them, I work with other countries too, I found the talent to be as good as anywhere else in the world, if not better. Because as investors have said, we're not just cost competitive, we're quality competitive. But let's be very clear, it's not all great. I think they need sometimes they need a little bit of rough edges there that we need to train and do that, and that's what the focus is. What does PSCB do, Pakistan Software Export Board? And we have only one mission and one goal. And somebody asked me, or many people ask me, is like, what does PSCB do and what is the goals? What are the goals? What are you going to do? I said, I don't have any short-term goals and any long-term. I have only one goal. I want to increase the export of Pakistan software industry. That is the only goal. How are we going to do it? There's going to be 20 different things or 50 different things that we need to do, strategies and tactics and do this. But there's only one goal of Pakistan Software Export Board. Increase the exports of Pakistan software industry. Nothing more, nothing less. Short term, maybe a few billion. Long term, maybe a lot more billions. So there is nothing else we do other than that. Now, it depends how we do it. Obviously, the skills capacity, the demand aggregations, and access to the markets, and do the international exhibitions. We as an organization support and subsidize these private industry. We do about 17 exhibitions throughout the globe that we go and do that. And I'm very happy to say that my first, not even the 2 days before I started working 3 weeks ago, I stopped by at one of the most premier events that happens in Dubai is GITEX. GITEX is attended by more than 20,000, or somewhere around 20,000 people. We had 88 companies from Pakistan that was represented there. The pavilion there was amazing. It felt good walking into that conference, that it was a huge Pakistan pavilion there, and there was a lot of activity there. But more importantly, we were awarded the Tech Destination of the Year award. This is the first time that has happened. I would not take any credit of that because I was not even there, but there's a lot of people in the private sector that was able to do that. And that was a pretty amazing, and I feel very proud when I was there and look at it and says, there are people who were walking into the Pakistan Pavilion, and nothing against any other countries, but we were in the front of the conference. We had 88 companies that were represented there, and at the end of the day, after all of this that has been done, we were the Tech Destination of the Year, and the branding was very obvious. And I want to give a shout out to here, Mansuri is here, please stand up. He's the Chief Marketing Officer of PSAT. He also came from Sarawak. Another one of those passionate people who moved from UK to just do this of the country. We're going to have a lot of this sessions today. We're going to do that. I'm not going to talk about the Pakistan industry because I think everybody knows the potential there. The only ask I have for the day is be open. There's a lot of negatives and negativity around the country and the industry. Trust me, I've been here for 33 years. I know I've seen the same social media and I've seen the same media everywhere. But what Investor Sub said was so right. If you ever visit take the delegations, take your companies. If you ever visit Pakistan, I can guarantee you the perception will change. It is not what you see in the media. The country is hustling, country is active, is very, very dynamic, and the youth population is hungry, is connected, is very well, and it is not what we see there. So I strongly encourage you guys, if you guys haven't visited, or somebody who has not visited, or the friends of Pakistan that are here in the crowd, I'm glad to see a lot of people here that are Pakistanis, Pakistani Americans, and the friends of Pakistan who have not visited, please do the visit, or take your clients, or take your customers, or take your accountants, and just make a visit to Pakistan. And I would guarantee you, I personally have taken delegations from here, from the US to Pakistan, even after 15 years, they still talk about it. So please do that. I think that makes a big difference. And obviously, now you're going to see a lot of pitches and projects and everything else, but be open, listen to it. Trust me, I think I've seen it. I'm there for 3 weeks. I was blown away from the stories that I've seen. I met probably 100 people in probably 20 companies. The facts, the stories that I heard, I didn't even know after 20 years. I'm like, I'll just give you a couple of examples. I just met this young guy, from Lahore. We were doing a meetup, and he was like probably 30 years old. And he says he was very shy, and he started, what do you do? He says, I created a product called, it does the email. It's like MailChimp. So most of the people know what MailChimp or Constant Contact is. I'm like, that's great. So you built a product in Pakistan. He said, yeah, we built a product in Pakistan. We have 20,000 global customers on it. I'm like, wow. This is how, yeah, we have 19,000 US customers on our platform. Howard University sends their email through their platform. I'm like, nothing I would have imagined. 40% of the stock market in Africa runs on a Pakistani product developed in Lahore. That is something people don't know. The first kiosk that was developed in McDonald's was done in Lahore. Kayak site is developed in Lahore. I mean, there is so many stories. There's a freelancer who started in the remote areas in Azad Kashmir. Now, after 5 years, has 250 people in his company. These are the stories that are coming out. So we have pockets of excellence, and then we have a lot of challenges also. So together we can do this better, and hopefully we will have a very productive day, and thank you for having me here. We also have this on the table. Please look at it. It's a very quick review of what the Pakistan IT is.
Thank you, Mr. Abubakar. May now request our panelists, Ms. Kuratul and Heather will steer this panel discussion. May I request on the stage Mr. Naveed Sherwani, CEO Rapid Silicon, Mr. Amir Wine, CEO I2C, Ms. Asma Kokar, Head of Programs, Portfolio Google, and Mr. Peter Hess, Partner Temples. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kuratul Fatima. I'm the Trade and Investment Council of Pakistan at the Council General of Los Angeles. Thank you all for coming here and for your patience. We will start this panel, and although I know all of these speakers need no introduction, but I will try my best to give. I'll start with Dr. Naveed Sherwani. He is a world-renowned semiconductor expert, entrepreneur, and leader in chip design. He holds a PhD in computer engineering, and his career spans academia, industry leadership, and entrepreneurship. Dr. Sherwani has co-founded and founded numerous influential semiconductor companies, including Open Silicon, Bright Semiconductor, Innova, and Rapid Silicon. He has authored multiple textbooks as well. His ventures have been instrumental in advancing semiconductor technology, raising over $1 billion in funding across his projects. And I'm sure this amount is more, but he's just hiding it from us. So I'll just go to the other. Next is Ms. Asma Kokar, and she is our only woman panelist, but I think the best one. Asma is head of programs and portfolio at Google. Asma has a very impressive portfolio. She is a seasoned professional with experience around technology transformations and solutions, including ERP, cloud, middleware, robotics, process automation, and blockchain. She has worked across many industries in both public and private sectors in Canada, US, and Europe. And she is recognized for her expertise in E2E technology transformations. Asma currently serves as head of programs and portfolio for Google's payment platforms, which includes GPay and Wallet. Prior to joining Google, Asma was with Deloitte Consulting. She calls Canada her home, but we always say that she has like a three-way nationality that includes Pakistani, Canadian, and American. Our next panelist is Mr. Peter Hesse. He is the Executive Vice President and Partner at 10 Pearls, a global technology company known for delivering secure, impactful digital solutions. Peter specializes in aligning business needs with system and product architecture to build solutions that are not only innovative but also resilient. Peter has worked with large, highly regulated enterprises all his career and played a key role in shaping the security standards that protect today's internet. He is also a co-leader of global delivery at 10 Pearls. He oversees a talented team of over 1,300 professionals spanning the US, Pakistan, and Latin America. Our other panelist is Mr. Amir Vai. Amir Vai is the CEO of I2C. He is a visionary leader and seasoned entrepreneur with over 3 decades of experience in the fintech industry. As the founder and CEO of I2C, Amir has been instrumental in transforming the company into a global fintech powerhouse. Under his leadership, I2C's proprietary building block technology has revolutionized how financial products are created and scaled, offering unparalleled flexibility and security to banks. He is also, in addition to his role at ITC, Amir serves as chairman of the board of several startups, and he is also a limited partner in venture capital funds focused on B2B companies, leveraging artificial intelligence and machine learning. He is also dedicated to philanthropy through the Mind Foundation. So now we'll start asking them. I know we have limited time and they have so much expertise to share, but we'll start with Dr. Shalwani. And I wanted to ask him, you and the ambassador talk about this technology trinity a lot. So can you tell us more about it and how it will benefit Pakistan, United States, and the TSA?
Thank you very much for inviting me. Really appreciate it. I think the idea is that we should take and use every geography that we have and use what asset base we have in geography, right? So we think there are 3 geographies that are very important for us. Geography number 1, of course, is Pakistan. And the best thing that we can offer from Pakistan is human capital. We all know that, everybody talks about that, but we are talking about very specifically people who could be the workforce in various different startups, mid-tier companies, product companies, things like that, right? But we have 2 problems in Pakistan that we have issues with. Number 1, we don't have capital. And number 2, we do not have a good mid-tier management and good top-level management, right? So how do you actually build startups in Pakistan if you do not have capital and if you do not have this mid-tier and top-tier, CEO level and mid-management, right? So then the second geography that is very important for us is Saudi Arabia. And in Saudi Arabia, as a very close friend of Pakistan, but more importantly, in the last 7 years, we have signed several agreements between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia, in which Saudi Arabia has signed agreements that they would like to invest in companies in Pakistan which have a potential business plan that they can work in Pakistan and Saudi Arabia, in particular take products that have shown traction in Pakistan, but we can now move them to Saudi Arabia, and in this way Saudi Arabia could get a product that's already proven in Pakistan, and then using Saudi Arabia, then go out and serve MENA region and the world. But Saudi Arabia also does not have the human capital, has the capital, but does not have the top tier or mid management. That brings our third area, that is United States. In United States, we have a ton of mid-tier capital, we have very good mid-managers, we have very good CEO title people among Pakistanis and other friendly nations. So what technology trinity that we talk about is very simple. We take the best from each country. We take the top talent, mid-tier as well as a top CEO talent from United States. They will be leading teams from Pakistan, and the capital will be provided by KSA under the existing bilateral agreements. The existing bilateral agreements talk about investment not in like $1, $2, $3 million, they are in billions of dollars. So there's a huge potential if we can take and build this technology trinity. It will benefit Pakistan because we are creating employment in Pakistan. It benefits United States because we are taking talent from United States and many of these products and services will be applicable to companies here. And we benefit Kingdom because we are using their capital but we are building companies here. So this is the reason why we think we are in an ideal position to build this technology trinity and benefit the three countries.
Thank you so much. My next question is to Mr. Amir. Can you just share a bit about your journey? And can you also tell us how I2C is contributing to the digital payment landscape in Pakistan? And what unique value does it bring to the table for the national and international clients?
Thank you for having me and the opportunity to share my story with all of you. I started my first company in Pakistan in 1987. Early days of computers, and what our value proposition at that time was, we would tell you, educate the management on use of computers and IT, do the software and so on. So that business is still running after 35 years, still profitable. Then as we were talking to some of these companies, many of them were in manufacturing, and they wanted to see how could we take information technology from office block to the product floor. And that's where we started a second company which does data acquisition and control, real-time automation systems. That company is traded on the Karachi Stock Exchange. End of 1999, as the tech boom was going on and about to come to an end, we were thinking about how do we get to the US market with information technology. And then the reason I'm sharing this with you is I'll highlight how Pakistan contributed to the success of I2C as we were thinking about this. So a couple of things we did very different from other Pakistani companies at that time. We were a SaaS solution from the get-go. So we were not doing software development for other companies. We were not selling on price, but we thought, is there a gap where we can build a SaaS product and take to the US market? So we built our platform to do payment processing. And that platform has evolved over the years. And you can think of us as the operating system that a bank or a fintech needs to offer the products to their customers. Today we process over $70 billion a year on our platform, growing at a very healthy clip. And consumers who work off the I2C platform reside in 200 countries and territories, and all 29 time zones we have a customer that works on I2C. Last year, we spent 1.5 million man hours in our product development and research. Now, if we were to do that in the US, at $200 an hour, or even if you were to take $100 an hour, that would be a huge investment, $150 million of investment. So for a business to justify that sort of investment, your revenues and profits will need to be super, super high. We can do that in Pakistan at 1/10 the cost. And the other big thing is, people talk about talent being better here and so on, but you're competing with the Googles, the Microsoft, and everyone for the same talent that's here. And even they are finding it hard to retain the talent. within I2C, we have people with 20 plus years of experience, and then we give out awards at the annual dinner last year, and the list was so long that we had to do a separate session because they closed the hotel at a certain time, and we just couldn't have as many people come up one by one and receive a 20-year service award. So retention is extremely important. In our industry, where domain knowledge is very important, we've been able to retain a lot of our key people. As far as challenges are concerned, I would say, in our contribution is really creating the people who've left I2C and started their own businesses. So that's our real contribution. We don't necessarily do a whole lot of work in Pakistan because we are considered a premium product. We are a little bit more expensive and we are not able to sell in Pakistan local market very much. Biggest challenge I would say is I had to pick between, do I train people to be hungry or do I train people domain knowledge and other aspects? And it's so difficult to get people to be hungry. We have, 4 offices here, one in Omaha, one here in Bay Area, San Antonio, and one in Montreal. And we do training all over the place. Teaching hunger here is far more, difficult than us teaching our resources in Pakistan on technology or familiarity with the US culture and things of that nature. So that's the route we went. And I think training is a challenge, but much easier done for resources in Pakistan than here.
Thank you so much. My next question is to Asma. Asma, there are 2 things that I would like you to talk on. First, what do you think that, how do you think the tech industries in Pakistan and the United States can complement each other? And where do you see the potential for collaboration since you work in Google? So I want that perspective. And what do you see, how do you see the role of Pakistani American executives in making this happen?
Let me start by, first of all, thank you, Consul General Kurat, for inviting me and being part of this. I had actually not been to Pakistan for 25 years. I got connected with the consulate last year. They are very good at pulling their heartstrings. They're reminding me of my identity and my roots. So just 2 weeks ago, I visited Pakistan after 25 years. So being here is very just in time. So thank you so much. Now, to answer the first question of collaboration, we have to first understand what collaboration is. And I got a really good definition of it 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, I was actually part of the cloud platform, and I was working on the crypto payments for cloud, which is now in public domain. 2 years ago, Google launched the ability to pay in crypto for cloud. So I was on that, and I was told, hey, drop that. Can you do an emergency crypto Beijing, and we need you to help prepare for ByteDance conference. So those of you who don't know what ByteDance is, it's the organization that owns TikTok, just like Alphabet owns Google. And I'm confused. Why am I being pulled? Why is this money being spent to help TikTok? It's a competitor to YouTube. Well, because ByteDance, TikTok, is hosted on cloud. Not only they use the cloud infrastructure, they use GCP cloud platform. And their 3,000 developers need to be trained. And that to me was a definition of collaboration, finding the balance between globalization and self-reliance that China is really, really good at. They have outsourced talent, which is globalization, that's working on YouTube, yet they have the internal product like a TikTok that's hosted on Google, and they're encouraging Google to come help them build their local product. So that's collaboration, and I think that's the amazing path for Pakistan, is not only to prepare talent pool that can be used for globalization, that can be used for outsourcing, but also really focus on local innovation, and initiatives like these are great, right? Where startups get a chance to be showcased to the best of the best, and that can help you with the collaboration. On that note, the follow-up question is really good. What can executives do? The best thing US executives can do is work towards what we call, like global organizations like Google, digital divide. When we look at other markets, tech is not national. Tech is global, it's multinational. None of the US organization will say, I'm a US organization. The big tech will always say, we're a global organization. We are a multinational organization, that's our identity. So when we look at markets, we look at the digital divide because that's where the opportunity is. The digital divide for Pakistan have multiple things to work on, but the top one is absolutely the talent, the outsourcing talent. And as Mr. Ambassador mentioned earlier, some of the others mentioned earlier, our talent can use some coaching and guidance on polishing themselves, being competitive in the global stage. I interview global talent, and I do see Pakistani graduates falling short in interviews. So there's opportunity for executives to be mentors, be visiting faculty for the universities, and help students be competitive in the world stage, to be part of the global pool, where organizations in Silicon Valley don't just look at our neighbors in Pakistan, but actually look at Pakistan as a really good destination for outsourced talent, and Pakistan to become the ecosystem of the outsourced talent. That is kind of not 100% there. The other thing these executives can do is exactly what Mr. Abu Bakr and some of the spokespeople over there are doing. Become coaches and mentors to Pakistan's talent and the tech industry. Because startup, when I talked about earlier, there's outsourcing, which is globalization, and there is self-reliance, which is innovation. And Pakistan, like any other country, needs both. So the other thing is US executives can do is become coaches, become mentors, help the local startups be innovative, build good products, and that will get you to the collaboration into the world stage.
Thank you so much, Ashna. Peter, I want you to tell us about your company. How has it evolved over the years? And how have you seen parallelly Pakistan's tech landscape evolving over the years? Tell us about that.
Absolutely. And first of all, again, thank you very much for having me here today. I will agree with Mr. Ambassador and Abu Bakr. Visiting Pakistan was, for me, an eye-opening experience, and had the opportunity to do that, and do highly recommend it for everybody here. I've been with 10 Pearls for about 10 years, a little bit more than that, and I've seen us grow from about 100 people globally to now about 1,300 people, and it's been a heck of a ride. As the landscape has changed, we have seen that true globalization of tech talent and the desire to have that quality, that speed, along with the cost savings that may take place from the difference in time zone, the difference in culture, and all of the other things. But don't make any mistake of it. The people of Pakistan have constantly, I don't want to say surprised me, just inspired me with their hunger. You mentioned sort of, you can't train hunger, or at least it's hard to train hunger here in the United States. The entrepreneurial spirit. Our business, we're a software development firm that largely helps other firms build new products, and leverage enterprise platforms, and really scale and accelerate their own development efforts. And one of the things that's that people look for the most, or our customers look for the most in that process, is that sense of ownership, that sense of leaning in, that sense of wanting to see the product completed, to feel like you're a part of something bigger. So one of the things that we've really done at 10 Pearls is invest back into our people to create this company culture that part of it is that mentoring and education. We formed 10 Pearls University, which during the pandemic we decided to launch globally and put out as a public platform. So you can go right now to temporalsuniversity.org or invite those young people and folks like that to do that. You can take classes on technology topics, you can take classes on Agile and things like that. That reinvestment back into the people, back into the technology sector, is something that we've been very, very committed to over the time. Is, you know, growing at the speed at which we've been growing isn't easy. It has its bumps and so forth. And so what we've had to do is pivot repeatedly over time and look at different ways in which to reinvest in our people and reinvest in our customers. But the core of it, right, as a services business, we have two assets: our customers and our people. And we know that investing in our people and continuing that investment in our people always pays dividends because it results in more customers, happier customers, and customers that are willing to just come back again and again.
Thank you so much. There is one thing that I wanted to take your views, all of you can pitch in. What do you think, what are the initiatives that you would like to see in Pakistan by the Pakistani government or in the tech space that you think would encourage investors that are based in US to go and invest in Pakistan, for companies, for US for companies to go and work in Pakistan? So anyone can go first and let us know.
I can start with that, given I work for a really big global giant. In order for investors or anybody to go to Pakistan, whether you're going in to look for the talent pool, whether you're going in to expand your supply chain, like a cloud data center, or are you going in to invest in a very nice niche idea which you know is going to make you money? Either way, it is a form of investment for money. And in order for that investment to come into Pakistan, Pakistan's government policies need to make the flow of money in and out easy for these investors. You have to work on making sure internet access is a proliferation of it. People of Pakistan have access to internet, infrastructure, invest in that. But more importantly, anybody who will go in investing, they know 9 out of 10 investments will fail. That's the nature of tech. But they're banking on that one investment that will make them money. And then once that happens, they want to be able to take that money out. They bring money in, they take money out. That's what they need to be able to do. And current policies are probably not all the way there. Open, which I am board member of, did work on a policy document. Our previous leadership worked on it. So, Mr. Ambassador, Council Journal, if you haven't looked at it, we'll be happy to share the document. I think Dr. Sherwani, Janae, Amir, they all have it. So that is it. I think we have to work on the policies to make it investor friendly in terms of flow of money. Thank you.
So I think I would say that many of us who are already investing in Pakistan and others who would like to invest in Pakistan, if there are any things, challenges, things that stop you from doing that or obstacles, open, as Asma just pointed out, we started actually a document so that we don't have this one-off issue that we point out, the investor, His Excellency is there, we say something and it gets stopped. This is not how we work anymore with Pakistan consulate in Pakistan. This is not how we work. The way we work and the way we have been working with the last 4 or 5 years, and it was actually started with the President of Pakistan, he took initiative and we started a monthly meeting. So actually now there is a document which has about 24 various different issues that we are tracking with Pakistan, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, State Bank of Pakistan and other governmental agencies. And why we do that is so that anybody who brings the issue to us, it gets documented at our consulate office, at our embassy, and it's tracked. So that once our issue is got solved, we delete it, but it's a running issue. So my request to any one of you is that if you have had an issue with visa of somebody, State Bank of Pakistan, starting a company in Pakistan, anything like that, please reach out to anybody, any chartered member of Open, PSAP, Consul General, Asim Bhai, any one of us. And what we will do is, if we think that is a community issue, we will put that in the document and we publish it, and anybody can get a copy of that document. If it is not a community issue, it is an individual issue, then the Consul General will work with you and the embassy will work with you to solve that. So there is a systematic way that we have put in place, and I'm very proud of that. So it's not one of those situations that Pakistan is always complaining, oh, I'll talk about this and never solve. Well, is that in that list? And if it's in that list, has it been worked on, and we have a way to track. So that's my only request to anybody out there, is that if you have an issue, we will like to help you. And this is a partnership between the diaspora and with the Pakistan Consul Office and the embassy.
So for my time running business out of Pakistan, we've had 14 different prime ministers, all types of political affiliations and so on. But all of them have been supportive of IT. And we really have never had issues where the government has impeded our business growth. And when we talk about incentives, I think businesses that are purely built on incentives are not necessarily sustainable. It's a good thing to see with some of the incentives. I think the incentives Pakistan offer are top of the line in terms of taxation policies and other things. So all that is great. I don't think there's anything to complain about. As far as what the government can do and what we run into, I think there are certain aspects which are commercially not justifiable. High-end research and things of that nature, that's where the government focus can help the industry, and some of that can trickle down into the local industry. And I think just the image issue, and it's I would call it a comfort arbitrage. People are not comfortable with Pakistan here. And if you go look at the reality on the ground, as Peter was saying, there is an arbitrage. Pakistan is a wonderful place. If you can get over your discomfort, visit and see. I mean, I'm an example, 35 years, not a single day when we could not operate as a business because of Pakistan. And when we do run a 24/7 business, we are not a 9-to-5 business. Payments and banking doesn't stop. There is no Christmas holiday, there is no holiday. It has to work all the time. And being able to do that out of Pakistan, I think we wouldn't have been able to be as successful. We're self-funded. So that's the other thing. I think the good thing about IT is that people keep looking for capital and investment, but IT has that power and beauty. Some of the parts of IT, if you're an infrastructure business, you may need capital, but there are plenty of opportunities. So I would say hats off to the Pakistani government. Don't become a problem, rest is all correct. So.
I'll just add to that real quickly. We are also self-funded and self-invested and grown in that way. And I think that, events like this that can help encourage, additional investment and increase that comfort arbitrage and get people to be excited about, the awareness of being able to see it. As long as government doesn't get in the way and investors do feel open, I haven't read the document, so I'm afraid to list something that's on there and be too repetitive, but making it a little easier to get visas to go there and visit, and for our folks to come visit here to be able to do knowledge transfer and working with organizations. How can we simplify that? That's maybe one of them. How can we improve some of those infrastructure things? But again, that comes with investment. That comes with that that growth that's going to come there. So overall, I think that events like this can really help.
Thank you so much, Peter. And now we want to involve the participants in this panel discussion. If you have any questions that you would like to ask the panelists, please go ahead. And if someone can take the mic, you can raise a hand. There is someone there, and if you can take the mic to them. 2 to 3 questions because we are running short on time and we have to go to another session, but we would like to involve all of you.
Thank you, first of all, for putting this together. My question is on the thoughts that you guys were talking about, bringing workforce here. What is being worked on, or is there some program where we are able to bring in the workforce easily and not going through the red tape? For us here, being in US and being the owners of the company, I'm pretty sure you guys feel the same way. It would be really helpful for us to kind of our team to come here freely and go there freely as well, and then bring some of those talents here that have shown potential, bring them here, groom them more, help them in this environment. What is either the government of Pakistan or anybody who's living here?
Well, if I may respond, I mean, coming here is not within the control of government of Pakistan, so we're asking the wrong people to help. But I'm sure they can try to help. We have a program where we bring in people here for a short period of time, and it depends on the season and the mood of the visa officer. Sometimes we get visas, sometimes we don't. So you have to continue to try, but I think Zoom and Teams and other things have actually, it's the exposure to the team here and there. You have to find ways around things. I don't know anyone in this room will have an answer as to how they can facilitate US visas here. That's just the reality that we've lived with, and it's been okay.
I don't have a magic wand either, yeah. But I think, I agree with you, the virtual nature, being able to do video conferencing and things like that has been really instrumental. Another big thing though is make sure it goes in both directions. So bringing your leadership, right, your CEO to a meeting that the developers that are offshore or the QA team that's offshore are involved in creates a tremendous amount of inspiration for those customers, for the teams that are working, with our teams. I'm fortunate to have 2 former customers in this room right now, and both of them had a hands-on approach with the team. And the team gets excited and they say, they learn the culture from the people they're engaging with. They can't do that in a vacuum. They can't do that from a Jira board or something like that. They need to interact with those people and hear from the founders. What is your why? What is your goal? What are you building towards? And just like anybody else, I mean, you can do that over Zoom. You can do that over Teams and build that inspiration.
Do we have any other question? There is someone there. Oh yeah, we should, ladies first, so if you can take the mic.
Hi, so I studied in UET Lahore and have been at ITU and LUMS as well. Pretty familiar with the talent pool there. And now I coach the students from Pakistan getting admissions and jobs in US, whether remote or in person. And I observe that in comparison to students approaching me from some other countries, Pakistani students are lacking in presentation a lot of time. They have skills, but they don't know how to put them into their resume. And that is something that happens at a very initial level. It has to be part of training in the universities. They can't learn that on the job. So what do you advise needs to be done in the universities from the very first year on how to present themselves to the world?
I think this is a broader question, not just presentations. I think the university's output in Pakistan is lacking in soft skills. So it's don't really know. I graduated from NED, nobody taught me any presentation, nobody taught me any project management, didn't know what a financial statement looked like, never attended a team meeting. So I think what we need to do is to add soft skills into it. Now, some universities are doing it. For example, if you look at NUS has now very deliberately added soft skill component in their 3rd and 4th year curriculum. I think that's very positive. I think what we are doing, the series of trainings that PSAP is doing, NAFTAC is doing in Pakistan they always have, if you look at any of those curriculum, you will see that is about half talent and the upskilling, and the half is soft skills. So I think changing Pakistani university curriculum, it goes through an organization I call Eagle organization called HEC. It takes forever, but you could do it, I think, in additional classes, and universities are beginning to do that. LUMS is doing that, UET is doing that, NED is doing that. So I think they're doing it, and I think their PSAP, Pasha, and other who offer additional classes, they are focusing on that. It's a problem that not just in Pakistan, the same thing we see that India, same thing we see in Saudi Arabia. So I think it's a wider problem, and I think something is being done, but more needs to be done, for sure.
Because I know at Google you have been talking about this.
So yeah, I can answer it in two ways. I completely agree with you. Google, every application that you see is actually open globally. Very, very rarely it's for a certain region, if there's a very targeted role, but mostly the applications are open globally on purpose because we want global talent. And we pride ourselves in world's top talent. That's how we define Googlers. I'm not a regional top talent. I interview a lot of people, and it's very unfortunate, yes. The interview is 10% technical skills and 90% soft skills. So they don't fit well, unfortunately. Now I can offer an idea. I went to school in Canada. All of you know Shark Tank, but very few of you know Shark Tank is a spin-off of Canadian Dragon's Den. Canada created it. Where did Dragon's Den come from? In business school, I graduated from business school in Canada. You'll be surprised to find out a number of Canadians in Google or any big tech because they train them well. It was requirement of the graduation. My final exam, 4th year, I had to go through Dragon's Den. It's set up in universities. And you get your pass and fail grade on that. It's one course. If you fail, you try again. So building something like that into curriculum where the students know they will fail. If they can't show up in front of 4 industry experts, can't pitch their idea, can't impress, because investors don't always invest in ideas, they invest in people. Corporations invest in people. Talent is what they invest in. Ideas can be generated, skills can be taught. So that what I would say is probably what universities can do, is build that in, how we can all help, offer ourselves up as trainers or faculty for these courses. And I, for one, will be happy to do that, but there is some very tangible effort needed from universities, proactive effort, making it a graduation requirement for the students, and things can change quickly.
Thank you. We'll just take last question, that gentleman on the first table. Can somebody bring the mic to him? Yes.
While that happens, I'll just also say really quickly, as the Council General said earlier, investments have many forms. So organizations that are within Pakistan can also invest, not just the universities, but you can invest in your people as well.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Jalil Sheikh. Question is for Dr. Shavani. I came back from Pakistan 2 days ago on Friday, visited your NED University, visited UET, NAST. My employer, Accelerium, has added about 90 engineers in less than 3 years in 3 universities. And your name is taken with a lot of respect over there. Because from Open Silicon, you brought in semiconductor chip design skills to Pakistan, and you, from sci-fi, you brought RISC-V skills to Pakistan, and a lot of people thank you for that. Question is, what are you planning to bring to Pakistan from semiconductor hub of Saudi Arabia? Thank you.
Ajay bhai, thank you very much for your kind words. I think our goal for the last 10-12 years has been to bring semiconductor technology to Pakistan, and this is based on a fear I have, which I widely shared with lots of people, that we are going towards a sort of a dark future where, like nuclear technology, semiconductor might go in the same category, which means that some countries which have access to semiconductor technology may not like to share with other countries who do not have access to semiconductor technology. It might be just driven either on strategic reasons or economic reasons or any other reasons, right? It doesn't really matter. So I think it behooves for us not to invest in semiconductor technology, but it's very difficult to do. So the attempts that we have made in Pakistan in the last 10-15 years, we are very proud of that. I think we started about 5-7 years ago with only training of 200 people. Today we have 700 to 800 people working in 7 different semiconductor companies in Pakistan. That's not enough. So what we plan to do with the National Semiconductor Hub in Saudi Arabia is to create this triangle technology trinity, but we intend to use as many engineers from Pakistan to work of companies in Saudi Arabia. The goal in Saudi Arabia over the next 5 years is to build 50 fabless design companies, which will need around 5,000 people. And the idea would be hire as many people from Pakistan, but also hire people from Egypt and other neighboring countries, because we would like to uplift the entire neighborhood around Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has the capital to invest in this endeavor, but doesn't have the human capital, so we will do that. So our goal really in the National Semiconductor Hub is to do good for Saudi Arabia, but in doing so also do good for surrounding countries, in particular Pakistan.
Thank you, Dr. I know there are other questions, but we would request our panelists will be around here and we can network with them during lunchtime and we'll be 5. I would like to thank all of the panelists. Peter, thank you for traveling from DC. He came especially. Thank you, Asma, Dr. Shavani, Ahmed Bhai. And we would now commence the next session. Thank you so much.